You are listening to the Techie Leadership Show with Bogdan and Andrei.
Hello and welcome to the Techie Leadership Show. Today with me I have Jan William Alphenaar. He helps you get the most out of LinkedIn. He has written more than 500 blog posts about LinkedIn and has already published 5 books about LinkedIn. Impressive.
True. Six in fact. I have to update my
6
profile.
now. You should update your profile.
Yeah. I have to update.
What else do you want to add about yourself?
I run a European LinkedIn training and advertising agency. So we help companies to get the most out of LinkedIn for sales and marketing. That's what we do. This is my first company. I started with my entrepreneurship in 1989. During my study, I sold computers, and 1997 I started web design and multimedia company. But I had a bankruptcy in 2003, so I had to wait for a few years before I could start again. And I started again in 2011, and 2 years ago, that company upgraded to the company that I have right now. So, 50 years old, already online since 1992. So, I've seen it all.
The stories you must have. So with that in mind, what would be the biggest leadership success story you've witnessed personally?
That was one that I read about yesterday. There was a new startup from Eindhoven. Okay. And they started in February, and they were asked if they could provide all the testing sticks for COVID-19 for the Dutch government.
Okay.
Because all existing companies, the molding and plastic companies, said, okay, we need at least 2 months before we can produce. And they were able to do it in 5 days.
In 5 days?
Then they were able to start the complete test sticks, including all the features that it should have. Because they were so lean and just free enthusiastic guys that worked 24 hours a day to create it. And now they have the order to create 2.8 million of those testing sticks. So, that's what I really like, because the fact that they are not an established company, they were able to be so flexible that they could say, let's do it, go full throttle, and let's see if we can get that order. And they have that order. So that's really fantastic. 3 young guys, early 20s, and they are now creating all the testing sticks for the Dutch government. So, I think that's amazing.
And just the fact that they were open, like, let's see how fast we can make it. It's not coming with an old mindset.
Because they had no procedures, no people to take into consideration. It's just the 3 of them say, why not do it? Stop sleeping and start producing. So, that's what I like. That makes them so flexible.
And if they also deliver, that will be like amazing.
And they are delivering, and they even have requests from other countries already. So, I think that's what entrepreneurship should be. Be ready to, be flexible and to go into any other direction that you need to go, if the moment occurs.
And from your personal life, if you could share a story of leadership, because you've been an entrepreneur for a long time. If you have to pick like one story, what would it be?
I think the story, because I made a lot of mistakes, including bankruptcy. So what I learned is that we have a big company with only 2 people. It's my wife and I. That's the only one I can trust with my eyes blind. But we have around 12 people working for us. All flex, all entrepreneurs that work for us on a project base. So that makes us flexible. They all want to work with us, but we are flexible. If we don't need them, we don't have to pay them. So I can go any direction and pick the people that I want at that time. So I think that's the thing that I learned over the years. And that makes us flexible even in this period of COVID. Because if they were all working for me, I would have had a big problem.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It can create lots of problems. But now with like there's a shift in also in an acceleration of business models, and
Hmm.
it's in flexibility. Lots of people try to make it at the core of their company,
Hmm.
so they can veer and steer and go whatever way that's most beneficial for them and for their clients.
Yeah,
And
and for
it's
the
something,
moment,
yeah, and it's something that's happening on a global basis, and it's good. It's slow because it's not something, it's not comfortable. I've spoken like with leaders and entrepreneurs, and especially if you have like a really flexible situations like you're having,
hmm,
it's hard to feel it like it's a business or an enterprise, because it's not the tradition how we were raised to see business.
yeah, normally you had a business and you were responsible for all people, and you need to make sure that the business went in the right direction, and everyone could add their value according your standards, and you could sell it and keep them
Yeah.
well, provide them in a way. But with the modern models where you use flex workers, they need to prove themselves with adding value. So the responsibility of adding value is no longer only with the entrepreneur itself, but also with the people working for them. So, in my opinion, you have to replace, no, not replace. You need to distribute the responsibility for added value lower to the organization.
Yeah.
So
and
adding value
probably
is. Hmm?
and probably you need more leadership skill, more leadership talent to do it, because okay, you have people that are working with you, but you also have to motivate them because they're not really that tied to your company. So you have to be even better at being a leader, not
Yeah,
just a manager, being a leader, to have them be inspired by you and stay and stick with you and do the work.
true.
Yeah.
In the building that we are located, we have around 150 creative companies working, all small entrepreneurs.
150.
And I have 150 different companies, and a lot of them simply want to work with us because we do a lot of nice projects and we have a good name. And of course, they're all much younger than me, and they all know that I was at the beginning of the internet. So they want to hear my stories, and they ask questions. How should I do this? How should I do this? Because they are in some way inspired by my experience and my failures. Of course, that's part of the experience.
And since you're bringing them up,
Yeah.
what would be the biggest leadership fail story that you would like to share?
Well, that's a real personal one. It was in 2003 during the dot-com crisis. I was one of the top
Yes.
10 agencies in the Netherlands for web design. And I had 9 people working for me, but I only had work for 3 of them. And we trained those people only to do one trick.
One trick.
They were
Okay.
almost like one-trick ponies. So it was impossible to make a shift with the business because I didn't have the resources, meaning people, to do other things. So, and I was, I think, too weak to let them go. So,
Okay.
so that made my company go down. And
No,
even personal bankruptcy. So that's not a good thing in the Netherlands, I can tell you.
okay, it's not good anywhere. I don't think
No,
it's an
you lose your
experience.
house, your car, your girlfriend because she was part of the car, etc. So it's a valuable lesson, but it costed me a lot. I can tell you that.
Yes. Well,
And
it's
I think the biggest reason was that I was that all my people were focused on only one task, and I was too nice to keep them and not to let them go. So I should have let them go half a year before the bankruptcy. Then I would have survived.
yeah.
So
And also make sure like you're building in your team. I'm sure that now you're doing it and looking at what skills the people have that you're working with, to make sure,
yeah,
okay, I need these skills, but what else do they have that I might use, or I can pivot, or I can add on to the business, or to be
I
prepared?
look at skills, talent, and attitude.
Yeah.
Because when you use a designer, most of the designers, young designers, they have only one direction, only one style they use, and they need to have the attitude to say, okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. In my own opinion, it needs to be perfect in the eyes of the client. So, and that's the attitude I'm looking for, that people want to do the best for the end product, not the best in their own opinion, but the best for the client.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and that attitude is really important. That's what I look at when I work with people.
That's a huge mindset shift in realizing like it's not what's perfect for you as the person doing the job, is what's perfect and ideal for the person receiving the job and getting to use it. And
Yeah,
it might be like a huge gap between the two of them. So what you like and what you wish, it's not what the client likes and wishes to receive.
yeah, because a lot of young designers think they are an artist and they know best. So they say, no, this is what it should be, while the client asks for for something else. And I don't want to spend hours and hours of convincing them to change the designs. No, I want them to listen and say, no, think about what the client wants, start from scratch, not with your own ideas, and deliver what the client wants.
Yeah,
So,
those would be like non-productive meetings. Anyway. Yeah. And after all your experiences, if you were to sum them up, what would be your leadership philosophy?
I think that you should always be inspiring and be part of the game, because you need to know what you're talking about, and you need to know what other people's, you need to know something about the skills that other people have, so you can be, on the same level when discussing. And I think that you should always have next to your A game. For instance, our game is training and advertising. You should always have a plan B. Because if LinkedIn stops, for instance, what will we do next? And it should be on your mind all of the time. And everyone around you should know it. So I think my philosophy is be part of the game, but let people that are part of your game also be part of your plans.
And it's interesting that you view business as a game, and leadership and managing your team, it's a game.
Yeah, maybe you can see it as a game, but with the A game, I mean your company's mission, your vision. It's okay. Our A game is, and it's not plan A or A game. It is some way. It is a game, of course. It's about winning, about playing it the right way. It's about learning from your mistakes and improving. And it's the motto of our company: always improving.
Yeah, and in a game, you have to be perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be better than it was a time ago. So it always needs to improve.
And since it's a game, you have to have fun with it.
It is a game, absolutely. You're the team leader,
what would be the top 3 leadership tips you have for aspiring leaders?
The top 3 leadership tips. Always be on the lookout for new developments. Always keep your eyes open for trends and opportunities, but also for threats like the COVID virus. Because when it started in China, and there were some rumors that it would spread around Europe, we were already thinking, what could happen if it comes to the Netherlands, or it would spread all over the world? Then our business would go down. So we were, of course, we couldn't predict anything that happened after that. We couldn't predict the lockdowns, but we were prepared that something would happen. And I think that as a leader, you need to be, you have to be sure that you're not surprised when something strange happens.
Yes, have contingency plans.
So you need to be aware of things that could happen. So when they happen, that you're not surprised and don't know what to do, because you're still the leader. So people need to trust you. And so be prepared. That's I think my number 1 tip. The number 2 is tomorrow will always be different than today. So always keep working on your plan B. Always keep that in mind, or plan C or plan D, but always have different options for the next year.
Yes.
Business can change, the world can change in a moment. So you need to be able to adjust to that situation. And as a leader, you're in the lead. So take that lead. In the end, it's your way or the highway, because that's why you're the leader.
Exactly.
So people, you need to give direction. So make sure that you have one or two. You need to have some directions to give direction.
And the number 3 tip?
That was the number 3.
That was the number 3. Okay.
Number 2 is that, it will always be different. And be flexible. And I think that most companies have on their mindset right now that we need to be flexible. And if you didn't have that already on your agenda, it should be after the situation that we are experiencing now all over the world. Although Romania is doing a fine job concerning COVID, what I heard about. But your rates, your numbers, it's very good.
It's fairly good, and hopefully we're waiting and see. We're waiting to see, but as a general rule, we Romanians like to complain a lot about, even if the government is doing a good job, we still like to complain about it.
No, and that's a real strange thing that we all witnessed in every country, that governments are really taking a lead.
Yes,
And
surprisingly.
but people listen to it. So I think that's a real learning moment from us all, that governments do matter in situations like this.
And I'm really surprised that people actually listen and follow on what the governments tell them to do. And the level of responsibility that I'm seeing all around, like in Romania and around Europe and around the world, people are actually following the guidelines, doing their best to stop the spreading of the disease. I am pleasantly surprised by the whole situation.
Me too, and I think that's because one part we were all surprised and scared. What will happen? And the government says, "Okay, this is the way we'll go," and that's what a real leader do. And it happens in all types of governments, democracies, dictatorships. I don't know if you should call it that way, but all different types of governments are taking the lead, and people are listening. So I think that's a really interesting development.
And it also showed us that change can be fast, because it was mostly overnight. The government came out from tomorrow, you're staying at home. And people adapted, businesses adapted. Some are struggling, it's true, some people are struggling. But the level of change and the magnitude of change in each person's life, astonishing.
Yeah. If you look at the world 3 months ago and now, it's incomparable. And no one could have ever imagined that we could live in a situation like this, that we could survive in a situation like this. Not going mad or,
In my opinion, after this experience, each time you have like a meeting and the conclusion is it's too hard to do the change, or it will take too long a time to do it, say like, look at COVID. It's possible to do it fast. So let's try to do it fast and run with it.
Yeah, be flexible, because we can be flexible.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would be the book that had the most profound impact on you?
There are 2 of them.
Okay, good.
One of them was many years ago. It was a book from Richard Branson that's called "Screw It, Let's Do It." I don't know if you read it, but if you only look at the title, you know enough. Screw it, let's do it. And I think that should be the attitude of every entrepreneur and every leader. Screw it, let's do it. And the other one is a recent book I read, and that's The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I don't know if you heard of that book.
I have it, actually. I've read that one.
Yeah.
It's a really good book.
Yeah, it is. That's a mind changer. Reading that book, I don't give a fuck. This is the way I'm going. I don't care what other people think. Yeah. And somehow those books have the same message.
Yes, in a way. And I really like the books that you chose because they actually give you the major insight in their title.
Yeah. Yeah, the title says it all.
Exactly.
Yeah, just looking at the title, you already have read the book, but you should absolutely read both books. Specifically, The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That's really helping you to have more, to be more secure about your own decisions.
Yes, and being more open to opportunities and taking a little more risk, calculated risk, but still.
And don't be a people pleaser.
No, it helped me a lot. So I also recommend The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's a really good book. So Jan, if people want to find out more about you, where can they go?
Google, LinkedIn. They could go to my company site, nextbusinessacademy.nl, and from there you can find everything about me and about what we do. Or go to LinkedIn and type in my name.
That's
I think that's the place to find me.
And what I can say for sure is people, if they need to improve their LinkedIn presence or their business LinkedIn presence, reach out to Jan and he will help you.
Yeah, we train people like this. We train a lot of companies. We do that already online for some years because we train some international companies where it was impossible to gather all people in one place. So that's where we started doing online trainings 2 years ago. So we are fully equipped, but we also help companies with the advertising campaigns, and we do it from a company from Denmark, getting the German market, etc. Because we all know we know all about LinkedIn. So that's our core business.
That's good. Okay, Jan, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much for
I like
coming.
the conversation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
That was today's episode. Tune in daily. Rate, like, subscribe, and share, please. Oh, you can find further info and materials in the show notes on techyleadership.com, including links to the guest book recommendations.